Well, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Blazer Victory Podcast. John Duncan here, and I'm joined, as always, with my co-host, Darion Smith. And Darion, UAB was able to get it done in Ruston, Louisiana, as the UAB Blazers defeat the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs 37-27. Honestly, man, the score was not that close. La Tech made it a little close towards the end. But hats off to this team, this coaching staff for it hadn't been the prettiest season, but they found a way to win, get that sixth win, and get UAB bowl eligible for the seventh straight season in a row. How about those Blazers?
Yeah, see, that's a good feat in itself. I don't want us to become too forgetful of, the past when we couldn't get bowl eligible for nothing.
Right.
So I'm happy for a coach and I'm happy for these players. As the Bahamas Bowl, right?
Yes, and it has been officially announced that UAB will be playing in the Bahamas Bowl against the Miami, Ohio Redhawks on December the 16th at 10:30 a.m. And Darian, I sure wish we could get credentialed and go to the Bahamas, but buddy, I don't think I'm gonna be able to swing that trip.
Man, I don't even think I'll be allowed to go because my wife would be too pissed off about me
Same.
going.
My wife's will be like, "What? Y'all going to Bahamas for what? To cover a game? What?"
Okay, like they'll let that happen. But
Right.
but yeah, man, I'm happy for the guys. It was how was the weather in person out there?
Oh, dude. So luckily, I was in the press box, so I didn't have to, face it. But man, it was ugly. It kind of had, kind of looked like, in the Independence Bowl last year. It was raining hard at times, especially right before the game and during the first half. And I mean, it's kind of hard for us in the press box, trying to cover the game and watch with it's almost like you wish they had like a sponge to kind of clean the screen because it was seriously hard to see. And we're following on stat broadcasts and stuff, but it was ugly. And luckily second half it cleared up, and but more importantly, UAB was able to get it done. But we talked to Bryant Vincent directly after the game, and I think Steve asked, and I mean, what would it happen any other way to be another ugly rainy day in Louisiana and how to end the season? And Bryant Vincent kind of laughed it off, and of course it would be like this. But kudos to the guys. Oh, hey, only one fumble, and Debo, they were able to get it back. Dylan had that one interception. Wasn't the best of balls that he threw to Schrock, but I thought overall UAB took care of the ball really well in a day that honestly, man, I was kind of worried that we might have a worst case scenario like a Liberty game where there's multiple
Yeah,
turnovers. But UAB, hey, credit to the guys for holding on to the ball and making smart decisions.
yeah. And credit to the coaching staff because I feel like in the beginning we started off kind of cute, too cute,
Mm,
um,
mm-hmm.
trying to do too much. And I think in this instance, I know a lot of times we preach balance on offense, and let's throw it here, let's do this. This is the one game where I was like, throw that out, please throw that out of the window, and don't do too much side to side running. Like I know we were trying to do like some screens and wide receiver screens and stuff like that, and to a degree we do need some balance, but I wanted us to just be straight triple option, like
Right.
run the ball, just and run it straight at them. Like there was nothing they could do to stop it. I think we were, and I get it. You want to. This is what we've been pining for all year, and this is the evolution the offense has made. Of we'll throw it some on first down,
Yeah.
and we keep people guessing, and that's what you're supposed to do. But I just this wasn't the game. I just wanted to put up 800 yards rushing and go home with a dub. That's it.
I mean, hey, and the way Debo and Skull, they both ended up over 100 yards. They, just gashing them though. I don't know if you could see as well, on TV, but man, those holes were huge. And
Oh
Debo
yes.
ended up. Hey, he set the new UAB single game rushing record, and also a season school rushing record in this ball game. And honestly, dude, like he could have had a lot more. Debo ended up 16 carries for 272 yards and a touchdown, and he went to the sideline early on in that third quarter, so he had plenty of time. If he wanted to get over 400 yards, he could have. But golly, that I mean,
Listen to how
credit the
crazy.
offense,
Listen to how
credit the offensive
crazy
line.
that sound.
Yes, in
You
a
said he could have had
FBS
over 400.
game. Yes, if he wanted to, he could have broke. I think the record for Conference USA was like, I wrote it down earlier. It was over 400 yards. He could have broke that easily if he wanted to. Like
Wow.
I mean, those holes were huge, and really, a couple of those 16 carries, like he just got tripped up. Like he probably could have done it in a couple of those. But man, credit to Debo though. Like we talked to him after the game too, and of course, asked him about breaking the records, what it meant for him, and of course, he reiterated it was a team game, that they're all happy that he was able to break the records. But more importantly, like what really stood out to me talking with Debo after the game was his excitement about just being able to watch other guys, get some more playing time. Of course, Skull, we had him, but he was excited about seeing AJ Gates out there. I know he didn't have many carries. Let's see, Gates ended up with he only had one carry. But able to see him out there. But just I don't know. If that was the last game that we see from Debo, I mean, what a special back, man. It was so special just watching him these last few years. I hope that he can play in the bowl game. And honestly, hey, I hope he comes back next year. But with the way they're saying, getting the draft grades, like you can't blame Debo for going. Go get that money, man. Go get that money.
Yeah, I think we talked about it earlier when he was having his fumbling issues, and we was thinking that maybe he'll be late round, but he's done a lot since then to curtail those issues. He's caught a couple passes out of the backfield. He has seemingly sheared up a lot of that pass blocking. It's like a lot of the issues that he had. I give him credit. He's done a hell of a lot of work to get in the lab and just improve on a lot of those weaknesses that we felt like would hold him back. And I wonder if the scouts see the same thing. And if they're saying second and third round, listen to me. I love Debo.
Mm-hmm.
All of Blazer Nation love Debo. All of Blazer Nation is telling this man to go to the league.
Yes.
Second and third round for a running back. This is why I like this fan base. We're not going to be selfish.
Mm-mm.
We love him. This is the best running back in UAB history. Listen, we recruit well. We have scored back. We got Taven Curry. He looked really good earlier in the year.
Mm-hmm.
We got a lot of backs on this roster. We'll be okay. We'll be a-okay. Go get your money. Go change it. Go change your family's life. Whatever team that you go on, I wouldn't personally, if he gets a second to third round draft grade, I would not advise him to play in the bowl game. You do not want to take a silly injury.
Exactly.
Because guess what? He'll be able to go to the Bahamas anytime he wants.
Right.
Don't play in the bowl game. Go to the NFL, and you're gonna already have a section of fans. Whatever team you go on, you're gonna have a section of fans just waiting on you, no matter what team. So, kudos to Debo. If he gets that draft grade, do your thing, boy.
Definitely. Well, how about Skull too? 22 carries, 119 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Man, Skull looked. Before the season started, we had talked about who we thought was going to be our offensive kind of players of the year, and I really thought Skull was going to have a good year. He ended up having a good year. But if Skull comes back next year and he's going to be that number one guy, I can't wait to see what he does going forward.
Yeah, because Skull is a complete back. He is a guy that can just do it all. So hopefully he'll get a shot to be that featured guy if Skull returns. And I look forward to them exploring his versatility.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see him. We know he can return kicks, and we know he's dangerous there. But yeah, I want to see him catching the ball. I want to see him lining up, and then we go empty, and then get him the ball out of the slot, and just being creative with him. I feel like I think he could go to the NFL, but that's how he would make his earning, like, his living as a third down type of guy, receiving, running draws. I think he has that versatility in him. He can do so many things. He's a good blocker. He can return kicks, kick return, punt return. He can do it all. So hopefully he comes back and he can showcase his different skill sets, and I think that can get him a pretty decent shot at the NFL.
Definitely. And again, UAB ends up rushing 406 yards, total rushing yards in this game against Louisiana Tech. I mean,
That's ridiculous.
When we previewed this game, we knew stat-wise Louisiana Tech was pretty bad about stopping the run, and my goodness, man, that was probably one of the worst rush defenses I've ever seen. And that, UAB's played, you look at Alabama A&M earlier in the year, I don't know what La Tech is doing. Yeah, and you could see the frustration on the La Tech, the few La Tech fans that were there, because the weather was miserable, but you could really sense their frustration. And so,
John, how many yards you would have had?
Hey man, I about would have had 50. Yeah, I was gonna say if somebody touched me, I'd probably fall down. But hey, those holes, I probably would have had
50. Shout out to that O-line,
man, yes, they look great. Yeah,
we knew it was gonna be kind of a bloodbath out there, but godly, especially on the inside, it was just ugly. Like you said, I would have had at least 71 yards rushing. Probably a 4. I would have had a touchdown. I would have gotten to get a touch out there. One of those touchdown runs Debo had, he looked like a man possessed.
I'm telling you, dude. This is something I was talking with Steve on the way back from Ruston. It's I just don't, you always say, we always talk about how special Debo is, and we know how special he is, but we're gonna look back, Darian, a few years from now, and we're just gonna really realize wow, how special was Dwayne McBride, and how lucky were we to be able to see that man in a Blazer uniform for a few years.
Yeah, it's funny because we all noticed it when our best running back was here, Spencer Brown, at that time. And we all noticed it when Debo was a freshman, because that's when he just always ripped off long runs. You remember his freshman year when he first finally got to play? It seemed like every time he touched the ball, he was breaking for a touchdown. And I was like, I love Spencer Brown. I really do. But if every time this kid is gonna break for a touchdown, we need to get this kid the ball more. He has to get the ball. I'm sorry. I know how we felt about Spence, but for a guy to make his stake in such a crowded backfield like there was, especially with Spencer's presence looming, because we had whatchamacallit that transferred. We had Lucius Stanley. We had a couple guys that was already, they already been in the system for a while. We were comfortable as fans. They were comfortable as a coaching staff. We had our guys. He came in and said, "Hey, you're gonna have to play me." He just came in and took his spot. When somebody does that, that's when you know that they are special. There's nothing you can do about it. Age doesn't matter. The experience that you have, none of that matter. He just got out there and he just toted the rock. That's all he did. And we had to play him. So hopefully we see a talent. I don't care what position, but hopefully we continue to see talent like that on this team, where we recruit guys and they just come in and they just pop off on film. The only other guy I feel like that really did that was Chris Maul when he first came. He popped out on film. He flashed everywhere. So I'm anxious to see if we have another Debo-like talent come along and just come and take it. But that was we kind of already talking like he's gone. But that was something special that Debo was able to show us, and I'm proud to have witnessed it.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, and you just said that too. We don't know 100% if Debo is gonna, go pro, but we'll find that out officially later. But yeah, definitely, what a special talent that UAB fans have been able to just see these last few years on the South Side. Kind of looking at overall in this game, Passing, weather was pretty bad. I hate to use that as an excuse, but hey, Dylan had a heck of a ball to Shropshire on that touchdown, the 74-yard touchdown. That was a thing of beauty. Everything other than that really wasn't pretty.
It was a
But
struggle.
yeah, it was. I don't know. Dylan's kind of going through a funk right now, and hey, we don't even know if, like, is it Dylan or is it the receivers? That I had tweeted out during the game. There early on in the game, there was a couple of passes that they were just a little bit off with Palmer and Shropshire, but if they would have converted on one of those, hey, Dylan would have had more confidence, and who knows what how bad this thing could have got for Louisiana Tech. But just a little off, super close on connecting on a couple of them, and that does kind of change things. But hey, overall, UAB able to get it done on the ground. That's really all UAB needed to do in this ball game, is just hand it off to either Debo or Skull, and they're guaranteed to break it for at least 15, 20 yards. So hats off to the offensive line. Only 6 penalties, 54 yards. Only a couple false starts. I think Treehern had 2. But I mean, overall, it seems that this was a very well played game. Minus early on for this offense for UAB today, in yesterday's game.
Yeah, it's crazy that it seemed like the passing game was better versus LSU.
Yeah,
that is the craziest thing to me. Like, how are we better? But I mean, that's just like you said, you hate to give weather, that much of an excuse, because they were able to throw the ball against us.
Yeah, exactly.
But on defense, it seemed like we had a lot of not the guys that would usually start. So
yeah, let's talk about
that. Had something to do with it.
Let's jump into defense, Darion. Hey, shout out to Renard Ellis, man, having 18 tackles. I mean, 1.5 TFL.
Crazy.
Like, he was on a mission. Like, he because we still don't know what's up with Noah Wilder. I don't know. Obviously, something had to be bothering him for them to, not have him on the sideline for periods of time. And I believe he started, but other than that, he did not get back into the game. Tyler Taylor never played in this ball game. Some guys needed to step up, and Renard Ellis was definitely one of those. I thought Jackson Bratton stepped up. You look at his stats; he had 6 solo tackles, a QB hurry, and a pass deflection. Cash looked good. I kind of hope Cash is okay, because he kind of went to the sideline and looked like maybe concussion protocol in that game. But yeah, hey, when UAB's defense needed some guys to step up, Renard Ellis, Jackson Bratton, Jalen Key stepped up again with the interception. If you look at the stats, Louisiana Tech converted only 2 of 15 third downs. That's insane.
Yeah,
now, granted, they still had 467 yards total offense, but you look at when UAB needed to get off of the field in critical times, they were able to. So I mean, defense, kind of looked a little suspect these last 2 weeks, but definitely good to see a couple guys step up that really hadn't had the opportunities to contribute in the capacity that they were able to yesterday in Ruston.
Yeah, I saw a lot of different faces out there. We kind of went deep in our bench on defense, and it was a couple things that kind of, like, Renard Ellis was the guy. He was the bright spot. He was like a heat-seeking missile. You could see it not only in the stats but in his play.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like he was one guys that kind of stood out. Drew Tuazama, these past couple of weeks, I feel like he's really coming to his own. As the guy, he can provide pressure. I know he had a sack. The guy can provide pressure. I look forward to seeing him next year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he can be that big body, kind of consistent pass rusher. But he's good at stopping the run too. But I could see him being that guy that we kind of missed. This year he even provided pressure against LSU when we did get pressure.
He did. Yeah.
It seemed like he was the guy. So yeah, I saw some things that Jackson Bratton had to work on. Like, sometimes I know as an offensive lineman, like the easiest guys to block was the guys that was kind of indecisive, and
Mm-hmm.
they would kind of just shoot their hands and kind of stand in one spot. So a lot of times I seen him doing that. Like if it was a
And
run
he'll
play, they'll be
he'll
coming at him. He kind of sat there a little bit.
and he'll get there. He's only a sophomore, so he'll get there.
Yeah, this was his first time, his first season here in
Mm-hmm.
UAB and everything. So once he get that wild man in him like no water, because he has the tools. Like if you see his speed and everything, and
He
he
does.
has good closing speed, he has all the tools. But in certain things about the technique of the position that he has to get, and once he start doing that, I feel like next year he'll be good. I think we're gonna be looking at him to start. And once he gets aggressive, he gets decisive. He starts to dictate versus receive punishment. That was
Yes.
his main thing. And those big guys were getting on him. It was hard for him to shed them. He didn't have any momentum or power behind his strikes. But once he gets there next year, I think he's gonna be really good because I love the tools that he has. He's big, fast. He's just a good looking specimen out there. Um, yeah, no, Tyler Taylor sucks. Like Tyler does a lot for this team, don't know
Mm-hmm.
what's going on there, you know. But it was a okay game from the defense. I didn't like all the broken tackles that they had. Some of their running backs they were kind of driving us there. They kind of looked like they wanted it more for a second.
Yeah, that was kind of wasn't good to see. UAB missing a lot of tackles early on, especially trying to tackle that running back. And yeah, they ended up getting 220 yards rushing. So yeah, that was a little concerning to see. And I don't know if that was still kind of fatigued from last week against LSU. And also having some new guys out there. But yeah, I feel overall it was an okay day for the defense. But yeah, that was a little concerning to see all those missed tackles, especially early on in that game.
Yeah, I think they did a good job of kind of in the second half of kind of shoring up stuff and bouncing back and kind of clamping down on their play. So can't be too critical of them. Jalen Key had a timely interception.
Mm-hmm.
He had a great open field tackle too.
Yes.
Um, so they played well when they had to. They were timely. I wanted them. I wanted to kind of blow Louisiana Tech out more, honestly. But
Yeah, me too.
yeah, and sometimes and that first quarter was kind of frustrating to watch. But other than that, like I felt like we did pretty good. I didn't want to have an empty stats day. I didn't want to have a day of all these rushing records and we were in a dogfight.
Mm-hmm.
And I ain't know if we were headed for that, but it seemed like in the second quarter we really kind of opened it up and we went up 17-3 for a while. Then we kind of took off from there. So kudos, man. We got the dub.
Definitely. And hey, before we wrap this up, too, shout out on special teams to Charlie Good getting
Oh
his
yeah.
second block punt. He got one earlier against Alabama A&M to open the season. Got one yesterday in Ruston, and Luke Purser able to recover it in the end zone for the touchdown. So, and that really kind of sparked UAB too. That's what made it 14-3, and then from there UAB kind of never looked back. So definitely good to see. Really, the only bad special teams was the kind of botched extra point, where I still need to go back and look and see, was it a bad snap or was it a bad hold? I don't know what that was, but other than that, Quinn hit a 39-yarder, 4-4 on his extra points when he was able to kick it. Kyle Greenwell, very good, punting day. You don't really
Mhm.
like to send your punter out there 6 times, but hey, when you're able to pin them inside the 20-yard line a couple times, that's definitely good.
Yep.
But yeah, overall, hey, like Darian just said, UAB gets the dub, gets bowl eligible for the 7th straight season. UAB will play in the Bahamas Bowl against Miami, Ohio in a couple weeks. Darian, anything else that we are missing from the Louisiana Tech game? Or do you
Um.
want to get into some coaching talk?
Yeah, we can go ahead and get into the coaching talk.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into that. So obviously, you know, I do think that UAB will make some sort of announcement this week. I mean, I don't think that's going off of a ledge here. And Mark Ingram announcing who it's going to be. I think they'll probably announce earlier in the week, if I had to guess. But definitely probably by Thursday or Friday, hopefully we'll have an announcement. Because, I mean, honestly, Darion, we're all just everybody is ready just to know what's going to happen, what's going to be the permanent solution. All the candidates are wanting to know, hey, either let me know, if I got it, or no, and let me move on, but as far as like finalists, I still don't have any inside information. There have been some rumblings that Skip Holtz might be a finalist for this job, along with Bryant Vincent. I think there's rumored to be a third candidate that we're all just, I don't know, we might be, taken aback by when we find out who that was. But yeah, I think everybody's just ready to announce it and move on, because this has been something that's been lingering over this program, since Bill Clark decided to step down back in June. So I think we're all just ready for Mark Ingram to officially announce who that guy's going to be.
Yeah, and I can sit up here and it'd be freaking awkward if he gets announced, but I can sit up here. I can tell the reasons why most of the fan base don't want Skip Holtz. Like,
yeah, tell him.
I have been vehemently I've not wanted this to happen. I have not been silent about it. I mean, the guy last college job, he got let go by La Tech.
And where's La Tech? Conference US.
Come on, man. Like,
so, and you gonna have? Okay, never mind. I'll be quiet. I'll let you talk.
He's had all these, Conference USA jobs, East Carolina and stuff like that. And ultimately, they all led to the same thing: him getting let go. He's been doing this for a long time. Just check his track record. I don't have it pulled up. I looked it up. He's been coaching for a long time. He's a accomplished, decorated coach. But he is who he is at this point. Maybe the USFL is a good fit for him. He, in the inaugural season, he delivered a championship to Birmingham. That's something to be celebrated. Those players love him. He means a lot to that league over there. Maybe that league fits him. I don't know, And honestly, I haven't sat down and did a deep dive into his offense and defense. I looked at the track record and I kind of was like, well, no. Because it's just if you compare him to like Signetti, they're like polar opposites in their track record. They both have a lot of history and they both have a lot of stops. They have a lot of coaching experience. And Signetti's is like nothing but team building, difficult jobs, winning championships. Skip is you'll have a couple good seasons in there. You'll have a couple good moments in there, but they all ultimately lead to the same thing. Him end up being fired or some kind of mediocrity. It's just he is who he is, man, and at least in college football, that's what I believe.
Look,
I'm not attacking his character as a man.
No.
I'm just being critical of his coaching history as a head coach. And that's just not what the fans, especially after this long search, hiring big firms, talking about all the resources we have dedicated to this search. And
right.
Why in the world would we just end up with Skip Holtz right here in our backyard for all of this for what? Like,
exactly.
If it's Skip Holtz, I'm begging you to keep BV. At least BV has the pulse of this team. At least he has grown, and it'll give him a fair shot. He has been recruiting. He's been doing a good job recruiting. So we'll keep some guys from transferring. We'll keep some guys that we have committed already, and we give a coach that showed that he may have the potential to be good. We'll give him a full year to actually prove it. Now, I'm cool with that, especially versus at least there's some potential there. Is all I'm saying. With Skip, we might have a good year or two here and there. It's just gonna be a lot of mediocrity, and I'm not excited about that. So
No, not at all. And I'll agree. Like I'll say it right now. If Mark Ingram spent all this time, with the firm interviewing coaches, and he ends up choosing Skip Holtz over Bryant Vincent, over, some other guys that have interest, this will be a complete failure of a coaching search. And this will be a stain on Mark Ingram. I don't think they'll end up getting Skip because, you see the backlash. Like, if you go through all this and then you hire Skip Holtz, who is a spring football league coach right now, who got fired at Louisiana Tech, and you can say all you want, he got or he resigned, whatever. No, he got fired. He was forced out of Louisiana Tech. And this is a program that is sticking around in Conference USA, and you are going to the American and you're hiring their coach. You're hiring a retread coach. Like, no. So I personally think I think it'll be BV, our third mystery guy. And whether that's Fuente, whether that's Signetti, whether that's Chadwell, whatever. Like I just don't see how he can hire Skip Holtz. Skip, hey, he's been around the business for a while, so I'm sure he's a great interviewee. Like, I'm sure he can, smart talk or, talk Mark Ingram into, tell him about how awesome he is. But look overall, like Skip, this would be such a terrible hire. Like, yeah, if it comes down between Skip Holtz or Bryant Vincent, give me Bryant Vincent and just, force Bryant Vincent to, hire a new offensive coordinator, or let Henshaw call plays. Just
let Henshaw run his own offense.
Yes, exactly. And Bryant, focus on just being a head coach, which we've talked these last few episodes. Bryant Vincent has done a great job just growing these last few games into a really good head coach. And you give him a full year. But yeah, if it comes down between Skip Holtz or Bryant Vincent, please just go Bryant Vincent, because I do not want to. Oh, I just hope it's not Skip Holtz. Please don't be Skip Holtz. Can you imagine? Can you imagine Louisiana Tech fans if UAB hires Skip Holtz?
We would be the laughing stock.
Yes.
CUSA and the AAC. Like, don't do that to us, man.
And UAB is better than that. We've got the facilities. We've got we're going to a new conference, so we're gonna have that money. Like, if they freaking hire Skip Holtz, man, this is gonna be a disaster.
Yeah, we have a good recruiting area. We're connected. We got good recruits in the state. We got good recruits in surrounding areas. We have the facilities. We have a growing fan base. We have a growing potential going to the new conference. Like, we have so much. We got some good returning players. We got a lot of stuff. This is an attractive job. If Skip Holtz is hired,
Ingram has killed it. Yeah. Like, he's done a great job hiring AK, hiring Casey. Like, he's done a great job lately on coaching hires. Like, please don't mess this up. Mark, if you're listening, do not hire Skip Holtz. Do not hire Skip Holtz. Please.
That's what it has to be, a third mystery guy lined up. I'm just believing that it's either between the third mystery guy that he's trying to maybe Chadwell. I saw they just got the brakes beat off of my James Madison.
Yeah.
So maybe Chadwell, maybe it's Fuente, and people may have their indifferences about that, but I can tell you what, that's way better than Skip Holtz,
Mm-hmm. And
maybe it's Tom Herman, who knows?
How did Herman do on the broadcast, by the way?
You know what? I was so into the game, I didn't even pay attention to who was Herman or not.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Like, maybe some of the guys, maybe some of the fans can let you know. But I was into the game, and then at the same time, I was at the skate park.
Oh, okay.
So I was watching the game on my phone, but then also, when I came, my 7-year-old, she likes to skate, so we was going through some of that, watching her skate and play and stuff like that. So trying to do two things at once. I wanted to keep up with who Tom was. I forgot he was on the broadcast, but yeah, man, maybe it's so many different guys. Or if you're gonna go down the retread route, man, which I don't want to. But if you're gonna go down the retread route, you got Kevin Sumlin and all these type of guys. It's so many names before you get to Skip Holtz. So this is my opinion anyway.
No, I agree, and I, I trust Mark Ingram. Hey, he'll make the right hire, but all this Skip Holtz smoke that we've been hearing, like we just wanted to address it, and yeah, I don't think they'll go with Skip. I think he's just a name to, kind of get out there. He seems to be happy in that USFL, so hopefully
Got
they
me
will.
nervous though.
It had me nervous too. When you get a couple DMs and a couple texts from some people you trust that say, "Hey, watch out for Skip Holtz," like you kind of do start getting a
I
little
got the same
nervous.
thing. Like I'm hearing a lot of
Yes.
Skip Holtz. I'm looking at these articles. I'm seeing Skip Holtz. I'm like, hey man, this isn't funny anymore.
Right.
Like this is real smoke. So again, no. And if I was Skip, of course I'd feel some way if I heard this. I'd be like, damn, yeah.
Right.
But hey man, I'm not attacking your character. From all I've heard he's a good guy.
Yeah, I'm sure he's a good dude.
Yeah, anybody that I've talked to about him, they said he's a good man, and I'm good. I'm good that he's had this coaching career. I'm good. He should be well off financially. I'm good. He's in the USFL and he's thriving. Hey, you're good, and we're good.
Exactly.
Like you can do your thing and we can do our thing. It's just I don't think he's the guy for our program. That's it. Nothing personal.
Agreed. Well, guys, you can definitely expect an emergency podcast whenever that announcement is made this next week, which we both do feel that it will be made this upcoming week. We will be on that same day to talk about the hiring of the new head coach, whether that's BV, whether it's Skip Holtz, or somebody else. hey, Mark, if you're listening and you're about to hire Skip, call me. Let's talk it out. Let's talk it out.
Yeah, let's go over pros and cons, man. You know what? It'd be funny. We do a true emergency podcast, like right on the spot. I'm like at work.
Let's do it, man.
We making it happen. Like when you hear my supervisor, I'm like, hold on, John, hold on. Like I want to do a true emergency podcast, like just chaos. You might hear my kids. I might be in the cars. Just stuff like that. Let's do one the right way.
And Mark, hey, I'm off Monday, so if you want to announce it on Monday, that would be perfect.
Yeah, I can find a quiet spot to go at work.
There you go. Well, guys, like I just said, we will definitely be back to whenever that announcement is made this week or next. We'll be back to drop an emergency podcast to talk about the new coach. Also, we've got hoops coming up. Hey, shout out to Andy Kennedy getting it done in Daytona Beach at the SummerSlam tournament, taking down Georgia. 5-1. Got Jacksonville, got the Dolphins coming up Wednesday. But after that, hey, you got South Alabama, West Virginia, and South Carolina.
I'm not gonna let you slide with that. You just said Jacksonville. Hold on, like that's their name, the Dolphins.
Yeah, JU.
I was about to say, man, are you talking about the Jaguars?
No, man, they're the Dolphins. Yeah, Jacksonville. Yeah, I think they're in the A-Sun. I think that's the league. Yeah, they're the Dolphins. Yeah, and old. I believe they used to play UAB back in the day, in the Sun Belt days. So, an old Sun Belt foe, I believe.
I heard Jacksonville. I've never been. I heard it's a good town.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I went there once on my honeymoon. I think I got sick eating the continental breakfast in Jacksonville. But anyway. So I don't know if I have good things to say about Jacksonville. Duval.
Yeah, Duval, baby.
Oh, man. Well, all right, guys. Yeah, we'll be back. Hey, so we'll whenever the announcement's made for football, coach, we'll be on. We've got hoops coming up. And, in a little while, we'll preview that big bowl game in the Bahamas against the Redhawks of Miami, Ohio. But, guys, thank you again so much. Hey, don't forget, get you a Blazer Victory Podcast hoodie. They are marked down through Tuesday to just $30. Once Tuesday gets here, we'll bump them back up to $35. So if you have not already, go ahead and go to storefrontier.com/BlazerPod, or just look at your podcast episode description and click on that link and get you a hoodie.
Yeah, and we had one fan that said NYC it. When he's talking about the hoodies. Listen, I don't know if it's like new slang. Could you please explain us what that means? I don't know what NYC
Man, I texted Darren. I said New York City. What are you talking about? Yeah. Hey, but hey, shout out. Yeah, if you're going to say something like that, walk it out. Yeah, we need a full description of what that means.
Right. I have no idea. So if you hear this, bro, just Let us know what that means. I don't know what. I have no idea.
We appreciate you for listening, though.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Of course.
All right, Darren, you want to close us out, buddy?
Yes, sir. Blazer Nation, let's ride.